What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can scrape LinkedIn profiles by creating a simple automation on make.com. Let's get started. To scrape LinkedIn profiles, I'm going to use this tool called Apify. Apify is an incredible tool that you can use to scrape any website and automate projects. So create an account on Apify, and after creating an account on Apify, head over to Apify store. Here, we're going to search for the website that we'd like to scrape. In our case, we'd like to scrape LinkedIn. So I'll search for LinkedIn. I would like to scrape LinkedIn profile, so I'll search for LinkedIn profile over here, then click on search. You can see we have over 100 tools that we can use to scrape profiles on LinkedIn. I'm going to use this tool over here, the one that says no cookies. So open it in a new tab. This is the tool that we're going to use. I like this one because it's very simple. All you have to do is add your LinkedIn URL over here. So if I wanted to scrape my LinkedIn profile, I'm going to click on start. You can see that our tool is running and getting our data right here. Let's give it a few seconds for it to grab our data. You can see that our run was a success. We scraped LinkedIn information on my profile. Then here we got the name on my profile. If I had the email, phone number, social links, and education added on my profile, could have gotten the information over here. We're also getting my experience, location, and the about section on my profile. Now to automate this process, on Make, I've created a scenario that I've renamed to LinkedIn Profile Scraper Automation. To automate the process of scraping LinkedIn profiles, here I'm going to search for Apify, click on Apify, and then here I'm going to click on the Run and Actor module. Here you'll need to create a connection between your Apify account and Make by clicking on Add, and for the connection type, choose the Apify API token, then from Apify add your API token over here. To get your API token, on Apify click on Settings and click on API and Integrations. Here you'll find your personal API token. You can choose to copy this and then add it on Make, or you can choose to create a new token right here, then create it and copy it, then come and paste the API token over here, and click on Save. But since I had already created my connection, I'm going to close and choose my connection right here. After choosing my connection, we're going to add our tool over here that we're using. This is the tool that we're using, Mass LinkedIn Profile Scraper, which is this tool over here. So make sure that you match the tool that you're using. Here we're going to choose to run synchronously, and we'll need to input our JSON over here. To get our JSON on our tool, which is manual and JSON, click on JSON. Yeah, we'll copy our JSON over here. So highlight it and then copy it. And then before we add it on this module and Make, we'll need to format our JSON. I'm going to use this JSON formatter tool to format our JSON. So here I'll paste our JSON, then click on Process to format our JSON. Here our JSON was formatted. So I'll copy it and paste it right here. So here we're scraping my own profile. And then here I'll click on Save. Here I'll rename this to LinkedIn Profile Scraper. Then click on OK. Now after we've scraped our LinkedIn profile, we'll get our details. To get the details on Apify, I'm going to click on the Get Dataset item. This is the module that we're going to get our profile details. For the dataset ID, we're going to add the default dataset ID right here. Limited, you can choose to leave it as 100. You can increase the limit if you're scraping more than 100 profiles. But since it's just my own profile, I'm going to leave it at 100 and click on Save. Here, I'll rename this to Get LinkedIn Profiles. Then here, I'm going to click on OK. Now, to scrape LinkedIn profiles and then get the profile information over here, I'll run automation. You can see that automation ran successfully. We succeeded in scraping my profile here. And here we got my profile information. Here's my URL. Here's my experience. Here's my location, my name, what is on my about page right here, and my profile picture. Now we can add my details to a spreadsheet. I've created a spreadsheet that I've renamed to scraping sheet. I've also created a sheet that I've renamed to LinkedIn profile details. Here we're going to add our LinkedIn profiles details. We're going to add their name, email, phone number, their details on the about section. We're also going to generate an outreach first line. We're going to send them an outreach campaign. We're also going to add the LinkedIn page URL over here. To add the LinkedIn profiles details on the spreadsheet, yeah, I'm going to search for Google Sheet and click on Add a Raw module. Here, I'm going to choose our spreadsheet. Our spreadsheet is called scraping sheet. I'm going to choose our sheet name, which is LinkedIn profile details. And here we're going to add the values of our columns on our spreadsheet with the details that we scraped on Apify. So for the name, we're going to add the name over here. Email, can add the email address later on. And the phone number. For the about section, going to add the about section right here. For the outreach first line, we're going to add it after we generated the outreach first line. And then here we're going to add the LinkedIn page link, which is this link over here. Then here I'm going to click on save. You can rename this to LinkedIn profiles. And then here I'm going to click on OK. Now to test if our automation works, that it will scrape a LinkedIn profile, get the LinkedIn details, and add the details to our spreadsheet. I'll run automation. You can see automation ran successfully. Succeeded in scraping this profile of this LinkedIn user. Then we got the details over here. We got the URL, social connection, phone number, the email, the education, experience over here. We also got their name and their about section over here. Then we added her details to our spreadsheet. We added our LinkedIn profile, our LinkedIn users details over here. We added their name, what they got it on the about section over here, and the LinkedIn page link. Since we are scraping a LinkedIn profile with an email and a phone number, we can choose to include it over here. So on our spreadsheet, we'll add the values to the email column over here and the phone number over here. And then click on save. And now we can run automation once more to add their information again on our spreadsheet. Here you can see that automation ran successfully. Succeeded in scraping Nancy's profile. Got her details over here. Nancy's name over here, her email, phone number, her about section over here. One thing that I would like to include on this automation is that here, you can see we are hard coding the LinkedIn profiles over here. And instead of hard coding the profiles, here on our spreadsheet, I've created another sheet that I've renamed to LinkedIn profiles. Here is where we're going to add our LinkedIn profiles over here, instead of having to hard code them over here. Now, after we've added our LinkedIn profiles over here, now to get our profiles to automation, on Google Sheet, I'm going to click on Watch New Rows module. We're going to use this as our trigger, so I'll connect it over here. I also need to create a connection on this module. Here I'll choose my spreadsheet. It's called scraping sheet. I'm going to choose our sheet name. This time around, I'm going to choose a LinkedIn profile. You can limit it to 1. And then I'm going to click on save. You can choose where to start. You can choose start from a specific ID, or I'll choose manually. I'm going to choose manually. You can choose an example profile, let's say John's profile right here, and click on save. Here, you can rename this to LinkedIn profile details. Then click on OK. Then rename this to LinkedIn profiles. Then click on OK. On this module, you need to choose where to start. Here we can choose a profile. For example, we can choose John's profile right here and run this module. See if we're going to get John's LinkedIn URL. See we're getting his URL right here. Now on this module, instead of hard coding his URL right here, we can add his LinkedIn profile from our spreadsheet over here and click on save. So the only thing we're going to do is we're going to just add the LinkedIn profiles over here. And then on this module, we're going to choose who would like to scrape the information. For example, here we can choose John, then click on save. And then now we can run this automation to scrape his profile, get his profile details, and add his details to our spreadsheet. So to do that, yeah, I'll run automation. You can see that automation ran successfully. Here we got John's profile, scrape his profile. We succeeded in scraping his profile. Then here we got John's details. We got his email, his education background, experience, location, name, and his about section over here. Then we added his details to our spreadsheet. Now on our spreadsheet, can see we added John's details over here. We added John's details right here. Here we added his name, his email address. He did not include a phone number on his profile. That's why it's empty. We also added their details on the about section over here, and their LinkedIn page link over here. So automation is working perfectly. As of now, we're choosing the profile that we would like to scrape, and we're scraping their details, getting the details using this module, and adding their LinkedIn profile details to a spreadsheet over here. Now, the next thing we can do is, if we wanted to send these profiles a cold outreach email, maybe to sell our services, since we have the email addresses over here and their name, we can generate a personalized first line for our cold emails using AI from the About section over here. On automation, I'm going to use Gemini to generate a personalized first lines for our leads. So on Gemini, I'm going to click on Create a Completion. Here we're going to choose the latest model, which is Gemini 2.0 Flash, which is the latest model currently. So choosing our model, we're going to choose a role. We're going to start with the model role. I'm going to choose the message type as text and add our prompt over here. The prompt is on the lines of you're an intelligent writing assistant. I'm going to add another item, another prompt for the user role. So for the role, I'm going to use user. And here I'm going to choose a message type as text. And here we can add a prompt for the user role. Now, the prompt for the user role could be on the lines of generate a compelling and highly personalized first line of a cold email based on the prospect's LinkedIn About section. Here we're going to add the LinkedIn About section, which is this one right here. Requirements for the first line should be engaging and intriguing, should be highly relevant, genuine and complimentary, conversational and salesy. We're also instructing the AI to only provide the first line for the email, no explanations, no extra text, just naturally personalized opening sentence. And here I'm going to click on OK. I rename this module to generate first line stroke icebreaker here. Now, after we've generated our first line, we can update it on our spreadsheet. So on this column over here, which is empty. So to do that on Google Sheet, I'm going to click on updated row module. I'm going to choose our spreadsheet, which is a scraping sheet over here. For the sheet name, I'm going to choose LinkedIn profiles details. For the row number, we're going to add the row number over here. And then for the outreach first lines column, we're going to add the results over here. Click on save. And here we're going to rename this to first line stroke icebreaker. Here, let's generate a first line of John's profile and add his first line to our spreadsheet. To do that, I need to choose John's profile right here. I'm going to choose manually. You can choose John's profile and click on save, and then run automation again. You can see that automation ran successfully. Got John's profile. Succeeded in scraping his profile using this module. And then we got his details over here from LinkedIn. Then we added his LinkedIn details to our spreadsheet over here. Now, another thing that we did, we also generated a personalized first line that we're going to add to our outreach email campaign. After we generated the first line, we updated his record on our spreadsheet with the first line. On our spreadsheet, you can see we added John's name over here. Here's his email address. This is about section. We also generated a personalized first line for an outreach campaign. We're going to send John a cold email. We're going to use this tool called Lemlist. So I'll search for Lemlist and since we would like to add our prospects to a campaign on Lemlist, I'm going to click on add lead in a campaign over here. Like we did with other modules, you'll also need to create a connection between your Lemlist account and Make by clicking on add right here and rename your connection. Then add the API key from Lemlist over here. To get your API key on Lemlist, click on integrations and then click on generate to generate your API key. Here will give you API key a name and click on create a key. And then after you've created your key, copy it, and then come and paste it right here. Then click on save to create your connection. Here I'm going to choose a campaign that I've created on Lemlist, which is this campaign right here. Then we're going to add their email address. We're going to add the email address that we scraped on Apify. You can add their first name, last name over here if you have the information over here. The company URL, job title, LinkedIn URL, which is this URL right here. Picture, phone number. You can also add their phone number if you have their phone number. Company domain. Our main focus is the icebreaker over here that we generated using Gemini. So here I'm going to add the email address, the LinkedIn URL, the icebreaker, and then click on save. Here I'll rename this to outreach campaign, and then click on OK. On Lemlist, I've created this campaign that I've renamed to the next campaign. Here you'll start by writing email sequences that you like to send to your leads. So for example, I'm trying to sell automation services to our leads. So here, the first email that we're going to send them could be this email right here. Now to add our first line, you'll need to, on our email sequences, you'll add two curly braces right here and choose the icebreaker over here. You can also choose to add their first name if you script their first name over here, clicking on first name. So you can say hi, first name. But since we never script their first name, we're going to just use the icebreaker over here. And this is the first email that we're going to send them. And then after one day or after a few days, we're going to send them the second follow-up email right here. It's a quick follow-up email. And then here's where we're going to add our leads after we've run automation. Now, to add our leads to our campaign on Lemlist, yeah, we'll choose who would like to scrape the information. For example, choose this profile over here and click on save. We're going to scrape their profile, get their details, add their details to our spreadsheet, generate a first line, update our lead on our spreadsheet with the first line, then add them to our campaign on Lemlist. To do that, I'll run automation. Automation ran successfully. We got these profiles here, scrape the information, got the information that we scraped over here, added the details to our spreadsheet, then generated this personalized first line over here. It's an incredible first line. It's very personalized, where it's on the lines of James, saying you focus on helping US small businesses maximize executive and employee benefits. I was curious how you're approaching that challenge, given the evolving landscape of voluntary benefits offering. These are very personalized first line. Then we add in the first line to our column on our spreadsheet, and then adding them to our campaign on Lemlist. So on our spreadsheet, you can see we added James details over here. So we added their name, their email, phone number, their about section over here. And we also generated a personalized first line over here of James. We also added their LinkedIn profile, their LinkedIn page URL over here, using the simple automation on Make. Now on Lemlist, on our leads list, you can see we added James details over here. Here we added the email address and the icebreaker that we generated using automation over here. Yeah, you can choose to also add Nancy to our outreach campaign. So I choose Nancy, run automation again, scrape their profile. So this is the incredible first line that we generated for Nancy. So on our spreadsheet, we added Nancy's just over here. So we can delete these two profiles. We can delete these two profiles right here. So we added Nancy over here, generated incredible first lines for them. So see how this is personalized. Seeing you work with Refresh Miami, especially your coverage of the South Florida tech scene, made me think. And then we are adding our offer. You can also write another personalized first line for John. So I'll choose where to start, choose manually, and then choose John's profile right here and click on save. And to add them to our outreach campaign on Lemlist, I'm going to run this automation. We got John's profile, scraped his profile, got the details on his profile, added them to our spreadsheet, and generated this personalized first line for them. It's on the lines of John, saying you focus on securing a new remote Unix administrator role with your extensive experience in Solaris, BSD, and Linux caught my eye. It's a very personalized first line. Then we added the first line to our spreadsheet and added him to our outreach campaign on Lemlist. So here you can see we added John's details over here, together with the personalized first line over here. On Lemlist, you can see we added our prospects over here. Here are the email addresses. Here is a personalized first line that we generated using automation. To send them the call outreach campaign, click on launch. Here you can see our prospects. This is James. Here's the email that we're going to send James. This is a personalized first line, and this is our offer. We're going to wait one day to send them a follow-up email if they wouldn't have replied to our first email. This is an email that we're going to send John. Here's a personalized first line, and this is our offer. Similar to Nancy over here, where we added the personalized first line and our offer to our email. To launch this campaign, all we have to do is click on launch for 3 leads over here. after we've verified that everything is fine on our outreach emails, our automation works perfectly. Here, we are adding LinkedIn profiles of the prospect that would like to send a whole outreach campaign. Then we are scraping their profiles using a tool on Apify. Then we are getting the LinkedIn profile details in this module. Then we are adding the details to a spreadsheet, similar to this one over here, where we are adding their name, email, phone number, what they have added on the About section, and their LinkedIn page URL. And then after adding the details, we're using the About section to generate for them a personalized first line. Then we're adding the personalized first line to a spreadsheet after we generated it over here. And this is the example personalized first line that we added for each of our prospects. Then we are adding their email address and their personalized first line to an outreach campaign that we've created on Lemlist to send the prospects outreach emails using the simple automation that we created on Make. If you have an automation or a system in mind that you'd like for me to create, just comment down below in the comment section. And if I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to create the entire system or automation using make.com from scratch. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.